What's up, guys? It's Zero here, bringing you all the ANML Aftershow. Guys, we just got done watching COD Champs 2025 Day 1, and what a wild day of Call of Duty. The craziest day of Call of Duty COD competitive I have seen in quite some time. It's been absolutely wild. Tons of ups and downs. The amount of upsets to just completely puzzling situations, and to a degree, it's hard to really explain today other than completely unexpected. And so let's get into it, guys. Look, there's a lot of stuff that happened today that I think was incredible. And a lot of underdog stories, teams that got opportunities right now to make a splash, make a run. And I am so excited for some of these teams. And I think, some of these fan bases, because when you think about it, you think of the heavy hitters, you think of OpTic, FaZe, LA Thieves are the biggest fan bases that we have within the COD League. But you got some of these teams now that are starting to make a splash in Day 1 of COD Champs here, in Ontario. And so let's talk about this, man. And let's start off. First and foremost, I want to talk about one big elephant in the room that really, as I'm watching the show, and the stream, the audience, the all day, you could hear people. Obviously there's people in the crowd, but is this the weakest COD Champs live audience of all time? Because it just seems like there's nobody really there. It doesn't even look like there's much seating for a lot of people, even if they wanted a lot of people, if there was a lot of people there. Why did they have it in Ontario anyways, when the biggest audience of Call of Duty competitive is in North America? COD Champs should be, in Vegas every year. I mean, it just should. It shouldn't be like a homestand, like, Toronto's got their homestand, technically speaking, this year that they're hosting it. OpTic had it last year. It shouldn't be like that, but it should just be, this is the hub for COD Champs is Vegas. I mean, I just think it would be absolutely incredible in Vegas, and I don't know why they don't do it, but I think that here in North America is where a huge majority of, Call of Duty as a whole, like the fan base is here in North America. Sure, Call of Duty is a global game, but North America is where it's where it's all happening. And especially COD competitive, COD League, Call of Duty Esports, it's here in North America. Nonetheless, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about it in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about, the live audience at COD Champs this year? Because, man, dude, when it's COD Champs, I want to see the stands filled. I want to hear the crowd roar consistently. It should, this is Call of Duty, man. And this is the Super Bowl for COD. This is not just another major. This is the Super Bowl. This is the NBA Finals for Call of Duty. Like, this should be a packed house every day. Yes, sure, the grand finals and, Championship Sunday is going to be the busiest, but I'm saying every day should be slammed for COD Champs. And so that's just my opinion. Love to hear your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. But let's get into the day. We started off today, guys, with the Vancouver Surge and the Miami Heretics. And I had, if you guys watch my prediction show, which I did a couple of days ago, stated that I believe that Vancouver Surge was going to win this one. I felt pretty confident that they were going to win it pretty easily. 3-1, maybe 3-2, maybe. Miami proved me wrong. They won that one 3-1. And Miami played lights out. And they, I mean, the communication, everything was crazy. I mean, obviously, they're all speaking Spanish, so I don't understand what they're saying, but you could tell that the energy was there. These guys are energized. They're excited. They're like ready to go. And so I think it wasn't so much about what happened to the Vancouver Surge as much as it was, man, Miami played on another, they were just locked in more so than Vancouver. Their energy levels, everything, the communication, you could tell it was on par, even though I didn't understand it. But Vancouver, dropping down to the losers bracket immediately, that's not good for them. I'm sure they're not excited about that whatsoever. They're gonna have to make a run in the losers bracket if they're able to, because we'll get to the second game here that happened, which was the LA Thieves and Boston. And I want to talk about this because Boston, for whatever reason, has had LA's number for a period of time now. And we also have just seen Thieves consistently, and I've actually stated this a number of times on our prediction show, even though like LA Thieves is a heavy favorite to win it all because of winning back-to-back majors, I've stated that the only thing with LA is they start slow. And if they start slow again, it could present a problem, for them. Just within the tournament, I didn't expect it to be, day one, first matchup, them having these issues. And they did though. And they got beat 3-2 to Boston. I mean, it went to the brink, but what happened with LA? Like, what happened here? I'm going to tell you what I think happened. There were situations where LA needed to clutch up and nobody clutched up. There were situations where, we had, I believe it was the first Search and Destroy, game 2. We had a superstar, or the number one superstar on LA Thieves didn't show up. As a matter of fact, he got a doogie or a donut. 0 kills in Search and Destroy for Hydra, which was wild. I would say 3 is the lack of energy. Man, I'm used to seeing Scrap, getting hyped up, screaming at the opponents, getting his teammates hyped up. No energy. And we have seen this consistently over the course of the year. And I think that a lot of this could be just growing pains. It could be a growing opportunity for them to, moving into next year, into Black Ops 7. What I did say on the prediction show is that there's a possibility, guys, that even if LA Thieves won this game against Boston, I still feel that they could be a year away from making it all the way to, the world championship, winning on, the biggest stage of Call of Duty. I just felt like they were, they might be a year away. Now, I do think that they will make a losers bracket run. How far are they going to go? It's hard to say, but I'm not predicting that they're going to win COD Champs now. COD Champs is wide open, which is interesting. So if LA Thieves does get hot, they've got a chance for sure. But man, the lack of energy, you got your superstars, having games with no kills. I mean, it just can't happen. It can't happen. And so I also think that Boston, they kept it close consistently. They wanted to try to just stay close. And then if we can keep it close, we've got a chance. And there was that, you could just tell there was that belief that they kept games close enough that they were able to overcome, these close victories, or close games. And so I just think it was a multitude of issues there with LA Thieves, and I expect them to come out with a lot more energy tomorrow. But they are going to have to play the Vancouver Surge. And that is going to be a very difficult situation, in my opinion, because I think Vancouver will play much better tomorrow than they did today. Game 3. Carolina, Royal Ravens versus Toronto. I got to tell you guys, Carolina and Toronto was probably the most intense, competitive matchup. Even though LA Thieves in Boston was competitive, I felt like LA just wasn't playing to their standard. Toronto and Carolina, man, they were both going at it. And I mean, game 3, I thought was insane. Toronto won 3-2. Beans falls off the map. Its control round 5 was absolutely unreal. So there was like little mistakes that were happening on both sides, but you have like Beans falling off the map. 1.1 seconds left for Carolina to hold. And they didn't. They couldn't do it. Ultra clutches up. I got to tell you that Gwyn played absolutely unreal, out of his mind. Slasher clutched up in a big way. He had a massive clutch play. But it just wasn't enough at the end of the day. It wasn't enough for them to overcome Toronto. And I think that Toronto now that you have LA Thieves in the losers bracket, you have, FaZe in the losers bracket, there could be a real belief in Toronto, like, hey, we can win this thing. Like, we could do this, and even for Boston, they might have a feeling like, dude, we can do this. We just beat the, back-to-back major champions. We can do this. There's a belief now with some of these teams that they can do it. Now, Toronto's going to have to play OpTic tomorrow in winners round 2, which is going to be no easy task because OpTic played perfect. If OpTic continues to play like this, they will win back-to-back and start creating a dynasty. I believe that. So let's get to OpTic. OpTic and FaZe. And by the way, guys, with LA Thieves in Boston, I thought that LA Thieves was going to win that 3-1, or they could have swept them. I did say that I felt like Boston could upset, but in all reality, guys, I thought that was total bullshit. There was no way that Boston was going to win. I was wrong about that as well. Then you get to game 3. I thought I was wrong about this one. And the way I was wrong about Toronto and Carolina was I thought Toronto was going to sweep them. I really did. And I felt confident about it after game 1. But then Carolina was scrappy. They kept coming back. They were fighting back, They fought tooth and nail to the very end. And so even that one, I was wrong about. Then we get to FaZe and OpTic, and man, was I wrong about this. I could see it kind of going either way, but I felt that FaZe was going to win 3-2. That's how I felt about it. But no, OpTic proved me wrong. My favorite team for so long was FaZe. I loved FaZe. Still love FaZe, guys. I love FaZe. I love OpTic. But FaZe I loved because of the trick shotting and the sniping and all that stuff. And even though OpTic did that for a period of time, FaZe was the team I really followed with that. Well, man, OpTic mollywopped FaZe. Like, yeah, it was close at a couple of points in time, but they just outplayed them. I mean, they played absolutely cracked, out of their minds, outslayed, out-schemed. You could just tell that FaZe was shell-shocked. They were gobsmacked, flabbergasted. I mean, whatever you want to call it, just at everything that OpTic was throwing at them. OpTic was locked in from the very beginning. Abizi, one of the things that I was critical of during the live stream, during the watch party, was, it was like round 1 of Search and Destroy, game 2, Search and Destroy, and it was Last Alive, and he, goes for like an execution, and just being cute, right? But what I think happened when he did that was it actually fueled OpTic even more. you know? And so I felt like it was at times, FaZe wasn't even taking it serious. It was kind of like with LA Thieves. It was just like lack of energy, not taking it seriously. And that's what you got. You got OpTic clicking on all cylinders at the best possible time, which is at COD Champs, the biggest event of the year, the Super Bowl for Call of Duty. And so, where does this lead us now? You know, after one of the craziest days I've seen in Champs history. And I've been watching COD Champs for a long time, guys. I mean, you know, going all the way back. Really, I was really following Champs, you know, with like Ghosts, you know, COD XP and stuff, things of that nature. But when we got to especially the Jetpack era, I was really I started following it, and ever since then, you know, we have seen some crazy things at COD Champs. That this was a crazy day with upsets and things of that nature. So what about tomorrow? Well, got the Vancouver Surge versus the LA Thieves. One of these teams is packing up their bags and going home. So my prediction there, guys, I got to believe in LA Thieves. I think it will be close. I do. I think that Vancouver Surge will play better than they did today, but I also think that LA Thieves will play better than they did today. I believe that the Thieves will win that one. It will go the distance, 3-2. Carolina and FaZe. The Carolina Royal Ravens and the Atlanta FaZe. I think FaZe is going to clean sweep this one. I think it'll be a 3-0 sweep. I know I said that about Toronto and Carolina. I ate my words there because Carolina took them the distance. I think there's definitely a possibility it could go 3-1. I cannot see FaZe dropping, losing this series. And if they do, the Tiny Terrors may be breaking up for sure. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think FaZe will win this 3-0, maybe 3-1, but I would say clean sweep there. Let's move on to the winners bracket. Winners round 2. Miami and Boston. This is an interesting one. You know, after watching Miami and their communication and obviously seeing Boston, I think it's going to go the distance, but I think actually Miami's going to win this. I thought that just by the way that the movement on the map, and then, you know, just hearing how locked in Miami was in those games, like during the listen-in and stuff, I felt that Miami, I think that they're going to have an edge. Boston plays really good against LA Thieves. Maybe it's just matchups. Maybe it's just they're fueled by it. Like they're like, yo, let's go. Let's beat these guys. We can beat these guys. We beat them before. Let's beat them again. But do I think that is going to continue? Especially if Boston were to beat Miami and go to, you know, against Toronto or OpTic. I can't see it. So I'm going to say that Miami actually moves on to the winners finals. And they're going to beat Boston 3-2. Toronto and OpTic. Man, guys, this is going to be a electric game. Electrifying. Because you have the home crowd, that being Toronto, but technically the home crowd, you know, away from home, OpTic, it's going to be the loudest probably in the arena during that game. Unless Toronto and OpTic face again in the grand finals, it will probably be the loudest we will hear that arena all weekend, potentially. I don't know, man. Watching OpTic, they played so well. And maybe it was just a fluke, and maybe they're not going to play that well, you know, going into tomorrow. But they proved this last year. They were home, you know, in Dallas, or, you know, at their home stand, technically for champs. And they just went on a complete run. And I don't know, guys, but after watching today, I'm like, I think they might go on a run again, because a lot of people kind of try to say, oh, well, it was technically, you know, the home crowd, this and that. They've heard all the noise, man. They've been hearing all the noise all year. I think OpTic's going to beat Toronto, but I think it will once again go the distance. OpTic, I think, will win 3-2. I could see it 3-1, but I think OpTic is for sure going to win this one. So that's what I think, guys. OpTic's in championship form. Upsets galore. It's awesome. A wild day of COD. I cannot wait to see what happens moving into day 2. And it's going to be something really special. We'll be coming to you guys live from Zero Dark on Animal every single day of COD Champs. Very excited about it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, make sure that you leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Stay positive. Just keep grinding. And as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace out, guys.